Te prometo que te encontraré. No prometas cosas que probablemente no podrás cumplir, güey.
Alas, we have been cut
Chulo,
off
no
from the
quiero
land we
comprometer
knew
así, güey.
and loved for too long. We could not trace its hills and valleys for you. But there are others who can. Go to the halls of the Tabaru Sinakis. We will try to explain. Those who cherish us, the chosen of the Akida, wait there. They will show you the way to the garden, to our prison. We will cleanse this rot with you once our hands are unbound. Find us in the garden. We twine, we await. First, let us offer you a sliver of our power, a boon to help you survive and find us. Will you accept it?
Ay, ¿a poco le puedes decir que Nelly y no te... No, mami.
Take it with our blessing. Now hurry to
Bueno,
the
quién
halls
sabe
of
qué sea, ¿verdad?
Tabaru Sinakis. Bind us. Free us.
¿Quién sabe si es algo? Ah, no, sí, sí es algo, güey. Lanza una especie de energía a través de los enemigos, causando las daños de impactar y enraizar las unidades. Ah, yo pensé que me iba a dar algo chido, güey.
You're awake. Finally. We really pushed the phantasmal focus to its limits.
Oh, you're back. I made sure she didn't touch anything important.
For a second there, I thought... Actually, never mind what I thought. Something like that. While you were out, I got some clear readings of the Dream Scourge. I've tracked its origin to the center of the living lands. Somewhere deep in the untouched wilderness.
El jardín,
Right,
jardín.
the garden. Sure. Doesn't sound like something I'd want to mess with.
If we find the garden, we can cut off the Dream Scourge at its source. I hesitate to bring it up, but you were muttering while you were out. Had quite a lot to say. Whatever you were communing with, it had a spiritual energy I've encountered before, though only in traces. It must be connected to the Dream Scourge. Perhaps they share a similar origin. Yes, Sapadal. Who are they? What are they to you? I'm sorry? Sapadal is a god? But that's impossible. How could we have missed this? You never heard them before? Not even in your childhood? Only when you arrived on these shores? A trapped god. Trapped. And you spoke to them through the Adra. Maybe that tells us something. Not the Adra itself, but how it comes together. We've long theorized that all Adra is connected, but that changed when Animancers came to the Living Lands. The Adra here is severed from the rest of Eora, connected only to itself, or so we believe. If Sapadal speaks and works through Adra, then the Living Lands is their prison, their tomb. Now that is a tall order. We know the Dream Scourge is coming from this garden of yours. Maybe Sapadal can help us fight it. A little divine intervention couldn't hurt. The real question is, where do I start? Doesn't ring a bell, but maybe someone's heard of it before. We'll find the source of the dream scourge in the garden, but we have to find the garden first.
This godlike Sokka's out of my depth. Call me when you need to clean a rabbit.
Let's return to Fior Mesiverno. Banished or not, maybe I can squeeze a few answers out of my colleagues. Gods, I don't know. The farms, the community, my research, they all depend on animancy. But the dream scourge is the end of animancy. The end of the living lands as we know it. We should leave this place and its memories. There's nothing more for us here.
Wasn't much here for me to begin with.
Stop! The trees splinter, the rice turns black. The pain! The pain!
Eh?
They trample the farmlands, they tear down the gates.
I lost you for a second there. Something the matter?
Perdón, güey, me estaba disociando.
Oh no. Let's go. You take the lead.
We found a way out while you were sleeping. Looks like a shortcut to the surface.
Mira, es por allá, güey. El otro. No sé por qué estoy acostumbrado a traer la pistola en la mano derecha, güey. Vete. ¿Cómo les explico? Mira, por aquí hay un caminito. Chale.
What happened? Who did this?
No, pues no sé, mami, pues yo estaba contigo.
The city. My home. Damn it. We have to check on the others. At least let me find Quilichi. Any survivors would have evacuated to the farms north of town. Come. There's not a moment to waste.
I'm sure someone made it. They can't have killed everyone.
Envoy?
Llegue.
Oh, thank goodness. For a moment there, I thought we'd lost you in the attack.
La furrita,
As
güey.
if you don't already know. Ignacy, calm yourself. Why should I be calm? His people burned my city. The Steel Garrote are hardly his people. They offered us no negotiation, no peaceful terms. Just flames and laughter as we ran. Don't be naive. Anyone who serves under an Adiran banner is complicit. Your Inquisitor is determined to burn out anyone who doesn't conform to Adiran ways. We agree on one thing. The Steel Garrote have declared war on the Living Lands. That sort of thinking is precisely why my father fled the Valian republics. What happened here is no coincidence. Their forces already have an unshakable grip on Paradis. This attack was meant to weaken us. No doubt they will circle back to finish what they started. Tell us, what of your research into the Dream Scourge? Assuming our governor wants to hear it. I may have spoken in haste before. Pardon? The very notion
that the dream scourge had blighted our farms. It was too awful to acknowledge.
Are you being serious right now?
I am. The sanctuary my family built was falling apart on my watch. And I wasn't strong enough to bear it. You must understand. My mother had the dream scourge. I hoped against reason that she might recover, but her mind grew as blighted as our lands. To face reality would mean upending my city, throwing order into chaos, and admitting she was truly gone. I'm so sorry, Giata.
Don't waste your apologies on me. This changes nothing between us.
I don't expect your forgiveness, but I will do everything in my power to make this right. Whatever you have to say, I'm ready to hear it.
You want me to do the talking? Very well. The evidence is clear. The Living Lands is on the edge of an ecological disaster, both physically and spiritually. We may know the origin of the Dream Scourge. By following it back to the source, perhaps we can reverse the damage. Now for the bad news. An undiscovered god rests in the heart of this island. Until we know more about its nature, we are powerless to stop it.
But this is madness. When I said I was ready for the truth, I didn't mean... Quilici, tell him it's madness.
Envoy, is it true?
Ay, Patty.
There's no other explanation for the spiritual shift in the Living Lands.
Ay, pensé que le
Something
otra
that
vez.
slept has awoken. I believe there is still more to learn, but a disturbance on this scale could explain the changes to our ecosystem.
First the Dream Scourge, then the Steel Garrote, and now... what does this god of yours want us to do? Pray?
This is no time for a theological discussion. Our survival hangs on a knife's edge. We can't remain in Emerald Stair.
There is no reason to stay, unless you count picking through the ashes. We should relocate to Thirdborn. It's the only settlement that can take us all.
No. I say we go to Paradise.
Aumentarse los dobles gráficos, no, este los va.
What has gotten into you?
As long as we are Animancers, the adherents will pursue us to the ends of the earth. Instead, we lay low, hide in plain sight, let them believe we're beaten, and bide our time.
While we hide, the Dream Scourge will tear this island apart. At least in Thirdborn, we can practice animancy freely. We can't gamble with our existence. The political climate of the Living Lands is too dangerous. We'll be proud to lend our strength to theirs, as Animancers and as fellow expatriates.
Not the place I'd send them, but... right. Best of luck.
I have my misgivings, but you helped my father leave the Republics. I trust you to help us again. What of you, Envoy? Where does the hunt for the Dream Scourge take you next?
Oh, I do.
Yardsley? Don't tell me you are getting swept up in all of this.
Oh, really? You should know better, darling. Any talk of the Akita, and I will appear. If you're looking for the garden, I can probably lead the way. You're already aware that I'm the foremost Akitan scholar in the Living Lands, and...
Godless scholar, my dear. No one outside of academia uses their proper name.
Ah, right. Layman's terms. Thank you, darling. Well, to make a long story short, I think I can lead you to the garden. 30 years of research, and I think the answer lies in a ruin called Naku Kubel,
Gods, here we go.
which is in Shatterscarp. So we've got to get there now. Before Fiora went up in flames, that Garrote monster took my research. Your kin are on their way to the garden now. Wait. If they know as much as we do, they know to go to Shatterscarp too. Oh no. I've got to warn Temerity. Meet me in Thirdborn, all right? You can't miss it. It's the only bit of civilization in Shatterscarp, if you can call it that. I'll finish getting ready here and just meet you there.
Ugh, what a whirlwind. God, I love that tiny woman.
No, güey, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué se tienen
I would be
tan
surprised
raros?
if your journey were that uncomplicated, but stranger things have happened.
Ah,
For
ese
what
no
it's
le tiene miedo a la
worth,
funa,
I
güey.
vouch for Yardsley. She's a good friend and a bad influence. Right now, we could use both.
There's a gate to the north, which will take you to Shatterscarp. It's guarded by some of our best rangers.
The best rangers that are left, you mean? Who sundered Steel Garrote?
I'll make sure they grant you safe passage. May the gods protect you, envoy.
Pero, o sea, realmente no está tan largo,
What more
güey.
could I ask for?
Bueno, sí, está claro, pero me refiero, o sea, si te vas por la historia principal, güey. La neta es que no tienes.
The godlike. The Rangers told me you help people in dire straits. I thought they were lying. But here you are.
Saludos a
All of
todos.
us. What was Fjord to you? What have you lost today? Forgive me, please. I forget myself. Yes. I know everyone here is. But they cannot begin to grasp what my family has been through. I'll be straight with you. The Steel Garrote's captain stole something precious from me. It wasn't enough to burn our city. Now they have to loot us too. She'll let you close. You can take her prize back. But you will have to kill her first.
Qué especial el pollo, ¿sabes?
Then I don't have to explain. Vidaro won't get his hands dirty. I need someone who will. My young nephew stood up to the Steel Garrote before they attacked. The captain gutted him and looted his ring. An heirloom with our family crest. I left pity behind long ago. I demand justice. I want that commander to die as painfully as he did. You'll find her at the Eastern Watchtower. It is not far from here. I warn you though, her troops will probably still be with her. Bring back the ring, and I'll pay you. I can't think about her wearing her emblem. It makes me ill. I should go now. My sister will need help preparing my nephew's body. We'll both be praying for you. Damn the adherents.
Our report said you were still in Fjord.
Chequen la silla de ataque durante.
We were outnumbered. It was more efficient to let the living lands do our work for us.
Give me one reason why I shouldn't tear your soul apart.
Because one wrong move from you and my soldiers will shoot. Now, state your business, and don't waste my time. We're moving out.
Hasta que ya que se corte sea siguiente.
Mission plans are confidential. Besides, this is my tower. You play by my rules.
You're in no position to offer us terms of any sort.
You don't want to find out what happens to Nimdutin who don't answer questions.
Ya cállense, péguenle.
Fine. If I relay my orders, will you leave us alone?
I make no promises for your survival.
Answer the blessed question and find out.
With Andra's mortar gone, Adia saw a passage to the uncharted world. The living lands were perfect. They had resources, land to build stable ports. We didn't anticipate the dream scourge would ruin Fjord's crops, but, well, we used the famine to our advantage. It wasn't personal. It was a token to prove my honor. It's tradition. You know that. That sentry's death is his own fault. He killed my standard-bearer. My soldiers demanded a response. As such, the ring is mine by right. That's the last I'll hear of it.
Eh.
They're coming!
Take him down!
Ya, vale, aquí no voy.
To the right!
Ay, güey. A ver, ahora sí pega chido esta madre. Ah, sí, güey. Qué chala, güey. Ok, el segundo no puedo hacer nada, güey. El chile no trae, ¿no? Muy bien, échame esto. Oh, as.
A moment of your time, if you please. From one Adiran to another. I go where the Inquisitor commands, just as you go where the Emperor commands. So, did you enjoy our little bonfire? Inquisitor Ludwig was pleased with our efficiency.
You irredeemable fucking swine!
Keep her on a tight leash. No need for this to get out of hand. One might argue they brought it on themselves. Believe it or not, the Steel Garrote owe you an apology on behalf of Inquisitor Ludwig.
Bring us her severed head and I'll consider it.
That temperament of yours is exactly the problem she's trying to solve. Our attack came together in haste. You should have been informed, and I regret the oversight. One way or another, Fuel Messiverno was always going to burn. Weak government, chaotic farming, dangerous research. They never had a chance.
What right do you have to cast judgment on us?
As the future caretakers of the living lands, we do only what is necessary. Fuel Messiverno's reliance on animancy and stubborn individualism has done nothing but drag the living lands down with them. Help takes many forms. Look, I'm only telling you this because you deserve to know Ludwig's intentions for the living lands. If Heelgard cannot maintain a grip on the living lands, then the Steel Garrote will simply take it from him. You see, the Steel Garrote answer to the Burned Queen, not your floundering empire. And we will break from Adir if that's what it takes. And while he frets in the throne room, his puppy dog soldiers will chase their own tails. Inquisitor Ludwig sees something in you, envoy. She wants to cultivate your potential, as she did mine. You don't want to get between her and the fate of the living land, so let this serve as a warning. Our grasp on this island is going to tighten, even if it costs us allies along the way. Acceptable losses. What you do with this information is up to you. Either way, Emerald Stair is just the beginning.
Están cometiendo un grave error.
Feel free to prove us wrong. The Steel Garrote love a challenge. Before I let you go, a little bird sang in my ear that you're going to Shatterscarp.
You might be evil, but you're well informed.
Of course, that would have been impossible with these meddlesome rangers in the way.
You didn't.
I took the liberty of removing them. It's a shame, really. Honorable folk to the last. Inquisitor Ludwig is always watching. When you arrive in Shatterscarp, give this letter to Temerity. Compliments of the Inquisitor. No need to keep you any longer. Let's hope our next meeting is under more favorable circumstances.
Y, güey, podemos... No, ¿a poco nos la podremos así? ¿Nos la podemos pepenar, güey? Ay, güey, probablemente esto esté mal, güey, pero...
You know, there's a depraved part of me that was hoping you'd make this interesting.
Let's make this a battle to remember.
I call her shins.
Ah, sí se puede, güey. Ay, güey.
Patience, I'm almost ready.
Ay, ya me cansé, güey. Ay, ese güey lo está curando, no mames. Ay, ay. Yo también tengo que pelear.
Enemy to the right.
Estoy cansado. Ay, todavía vienen más. ¿Dónde está? Ven, ya me... Hay un culero que los está curando. No sé quién es. Ah, es este güey. Algo.
You came to Emerald Stair looking for answers. And now we're leaving with more questions. How do we fight the Dream Scourge? What can we do about Sapadal? And where is the garden? Not to mention, why the Steel Garrote burned my fucking home to the ground. Then we had better prepare to fight back. I will not forget Fiume Siverna. Everything it was, and everything it could have been. And I will never forgive. Never.
So on top of the Dream Scourge rotting your fields and turning kith and beast alike into monsters, now we've got a Death Guard Inquisitor and the Steel Garrote dogging our steps. Do you think Ludwig will try something similar in Thirdborn? Thirdborn's a rugged place that attracts rugged people. Lots of Rawatayans, scramble routes with no prospects back home, washouts from military or mercenary life, sailors in search of steady ground. Add to that a motley assortment of pirates, free spirits, and people who like living under the loosest grasp of the law, and you've got Thirdborn. But rumor has it something's amiss in Shatterscarp. strange dreams, disappearances. People wandering into the desert, never returning, or coming back, changed. Their bodies and minds twisted, corrupted. Some confused and disoriented, like Belena. Others violent, like Adelaro.
At least that tells us we're on the right track. This dream scourge is one of the weirdest things I've ever tried to hunt. Right. The garden. Sure.
Everything we learned in Nakutadek points us to the garden. Thirdborn is just a stepping stone. But we don't know anything about the garden. It could be a myth or a metaphor. Whatever the garden is or isn't, it's our only lead. We find the garden, we find the dream scourge. Yatsley is a master of the unknown and the unknowable. No mystery eludes her for long. If there is a path to the garden, Yatsley can lead us to it. I'd follow her anywhere.
Or maybe that god poking around your soul could give us directions.
Ask for directions. Why didn't I think of that? Kai, that's brilliant. Whatever Sapadal tells us will be filtered through a lot of metaphysical noise, but it couldn't hurt to try. This is so exciting. Sapadal? It's Giada Castel. If you're listening, could you please tell us more about the garden?
Castel. Why does this name sing to us? A voice through murky water. The garden stifles the notes. We cannot reach. The branches bind.
Did you get anything? In other words, nothing we didn't already know. Well, at least we tried. Clearly your link to Sapadal isn't as strong as it was in Nakutadek, but I'll take it over nothing.
I'll pass. I've heard too many ghost stories that start this way.
Right. If I wanted to waste time, that's what I carry a flute for.
Just me then? Really? No one else has a question for the god of the living lands? Fascinating.
So let me see if I got this straight. We're looking for the garden, which might not exist. Our best lead is Yatsley, an eccentric scholar who's gone ahead to Thirdborn, where the dream scourge may be ravaging.
Don't look at me. I was fine going back to Paradise.
Eh...